Personal Story segment tonight. May remember some of the controversial things Meghan McCain has said in the past. She's a Republican, but a progressive one, and that has gained her some notoriety. Beginning this coming Saturday, Ms. McCain has a brand new cable program called Raising McCain on Pivot TV. And here she is. What is Pivot TV? That doesn't have to do with Al Jazeera, does it?
No,
okay.
It's not Al Jazeera.
What's Pivot TV?
Pivot is a brand new network that's launched that's specifically targeted at the millennial generation, which means 18 to 34-year-olds.
So the millennial generation is 18 to 34. You're trying to lure them into watching Raising McCain.
Yes, I am.
Now, one of the topics I saw your roster of what you can talk about that interests me is the cyberbullying deal, which is real. It's causing kids to commit suicide. It's wreaking havoc in public and private schools across the country. What's your take on that?
I agree. It's an absolute epidemic. Every day, 160,000 kids skip school because they're bullied. People that are bullied and bullies are more likely to have psychological problems as adults, and it's an absolute epidemic, and the internet is just making it worse.
Were you ever bullied as a kid because you have a famous dad and stuff like that?
Not to the severity that people that commit suicide do, but I'm grateful that the internet wasn't around when I was growing up, because if Facebook
Well, you've been attacked on the internet now just because you're, an adult who has everybody dead. But what I'm trying to get at is, are children meaner now than they were when you were growing up? Older. I'm older, obviously. When I was growing up, kids were pretty mean back then. I mean, there were a lot of fights in my neighborhood, mostly over bullying. But I see this kind of sadistic streak because they can hide behind the internet. You don't have to go out in the schoolyard and risk taking a shot to the head. You do it in your own basement or whatever. And I think it's a huge problem. Oh,
yeah, the anonymity of the internet is just making it so much worse. And
are they meaner, though? Are these kids meaner today?
I don't know if kids are meaner, but they have a different kind of platform. They can attack online and they can post pictures. I mean, there's a bunch of things going on with slut shaming with women on the internet, and it's very scary. And the idea that you can, you're so young, there's so many different tools with cameras you can take on your phone. You take a picture when you're 18 that's going to come back to haunt you possibly when you're 30. No,
absolutely. Everything you got to watch. Parents and grandparents got to watch that like crazy. Now, I want to play the promotion for Ms. McCain's program. Go.
You consider yourself a feminist?
No.
What?
My instinct is to make out with every hot guy I see, but I don't do it.
I don't believe she's naturally blonde.
I'm not. You can't be on TV talking about politics and talk about sex at the same time. The tables have turned, America. I'm Meghan McCain. Yeah, that's my dad.
Now, is your father, is he happy to be in that promo?
He is.
Is he?
My
I know
dad,
he wants you to do well. I know him.
You do
but
know
is he
him.
happy to be in there?
He is. He's not always happy with every decision I make and every career move I've made, but thank God he is happy with this one.
Okay. When you are going to get into this millennial business, all right, a lot of this is narcissistic. Do you understand that because of all this internet business and all of this concentration on me, all right, that narcissism has gone through the roof?
I don't know if it's narcissism, because I think that it's the way that we share information, and I think it can be perceived as narcissism, but I don't think that's accurate.
But here's why I disagree with you. You can create your own little world in cyberspace, and people do. Facebook, tweeting, all of this stuff. But it all comes back to you, not anybody else. It's you. And I think that people are now becoming so selfish and so self-absorbed that this generation is totally different from like the World War II generation, the generation of your father.
Well, the president of my network calls this generation the next greatest generation, and I think we've been handed a really poor hand. Obviously, wars, the economy, everything that's bad that's going on in our culture right now. But I think sharing on the internet is a way for us to communicate with each other and share information.
It's certainly that. But I'm not sure that any millennials could survive what your father survived. 5 years in a North Vietnamese prison, being beaten and tortured, because it was a different time then, and people had they were tougher than they are now.
And you think the internet is making us weaker?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I do.
I disagree. I mean, I think
it's making us spiritually weaker, mentally weaker, and physically weaker, unless you're lifting weights while you're tweeting.
Do you have a presence online at all?
I am computer illiterate. I write my books online, and I have to do the internet thing for work. But I want to get off it as much as I can. I do. I want to think, and I want to see trees. I don't want to sit in my basement. But good luck with the program.
Thank you.
I think you're a good spokesman, but I want you to think about your generation.
Okay.
Try to get them back on track a little bit.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me on. I'm such a big fan.
Anytime, anytime.
Thank you.
We come right back, a terrible story.